I found out my granddaughter has been taken. She has been missing for a month. Her mother finally admitted that she's been missing.
How long has she been missing for?
I have not seen her since the 7th of June.
Why are you calling now? Why didn't you call 31 days ago?
I've been looking for her and have gone through other resources to try to find her, which was stupid. That girl was the last person to have her?
She was the last person to have her. That was the last time I saw Caylee.
I believe that she made a mistake. I believe that her daughter was handed off to somebody. I believe that the daughter is alive.
Do you think Kaylee's okay right now?
My gut feeling, in my gut, she's still okay. And it still feels like she's close to home.
I'm Jane Velez-Mitchell in for Nancy Grace. Breaking news in case you're just joining us. The shocking developments come page after page as authorities release 400-plus pages of documents in the case of missing Caylee Anthony. One big shocker, a friend claims Casey's mom, Cindy, told him her daughter is a sociopath and please don't have any contact with her. So how does all this impact the case? I want to go to Kathy Reichs, who is a forensic anthropologist and author of Devil Bones. You've been hearing all of this, Kathy, but it has to be put in perspective with the evidence that's coming in. The fact that a cadaver dog hit on a smell in Casey's abandoned car. The fact that cadaver dogs also hit on an area in the back of the Anthony home and a mystery stain found in the car along with hairs. Put it all together for us.
Well, I've seen cadaver dogs that are good, and I've seen cadaver dogs that are not so good. As far as a mystery stain in the back of the car, I'm sure almost all of us have a mystery stain in the back of our car. I probably have one in the trunk of my car. What's frustrating is we don't really know what forensic evidence exists, if any. And we don't know what the process of analysis of that evidence is. I don't find that surprising. It can take a long time, not necessarily to do the analysis, but to wait your turn in line to have the analysis done. So we don't know if they're checking it to see, is it in fact bodily fluids or blood? That's pretty quick. If it is it human blood? That's pretty quick. If they're then going on from that and testing it for DNA, that can take a bit longer.
Absolutely, and we have to also add in Ron Schindel, former NYPD deputy inspector, some of the circumstantial evidence, the fact that a neighbor said that Casey borrowed a shovel. Now, Cindy, her mom says, hey, it was to knock down bamboo sticks, totally innocent, but the family admits Casey stole gas cans from her dad, $50 approximately worth of gas. You know, there's one thing after another, Ron, and no thing individually is implicating, but when you put it all together, is a picture emerging, and what can authorities do with that?
Well, Jane, you're exactly correct. There is so much circumstantial evidence here of so many varying types, and it leads in so many different directions that you just have to keep digging here, because eventually it's going to lead to a conclusion, and eventually it may lead to finding the little girl.
Well, let's go back to Leonard Padilla, who bailed Casey Anthony out of jail with the help of his amazing nephew, Tony. Leonard, let's talk about what I like to call the list o' lies. On June 9th, she claims she left the baby with this Zenaida Gonzalez. There's been a lot of Zenaida Gonzalez's.
June
The police
16th.
can't. No. She originally said June 9th. And then what happened was that detectives confronted Casey's mom with a videotape that was taken on June 15th, Father's Day, where Cindy actually videotaped little Caylee. So,
but was that Cindy's statement? Okay, not defending anybody, but was that the statement of Cindy on June 9th, and then she retracted it and said?
No, that was the statement of Casey.
Okay, all right.
Casey said that. So, in other words, what's happening is we have a list of lies, and I mean, it goes on and on. She says she left Caylee in an apartment. That apartment turned out to be vacant for months. She's off on the dates, as we just discussed. Her dad, George, saw the baby June 16th. She told her parents she was going on a business trip. That was nonsense. She told her parents and others she worked at Universal. That was total nonsense. She said that Zenaida Gonzalez, the alleged babysitter that nobody can find, had a roommate that worked at TGI Fridays. That was disputed by the restaurant. Cops alleged that Casey faked emails to make it look like she worked at Universal. She told her boyfriend and friends that the baby was always with the nanny. And, of course, the big one, failure to report the lost child to law enforcement. So when you hear all of this, your conclusion, Leonard, I just want to see if I'm accurate, is that she left the child with friends.
I think she left her or gave her to friends knowing that they would take care of her, and the reason for all the lies and everything else that she got caught up in is because she lies all the time about everything. This is not new that she's lying about this. She lies about everything. And she definitely didn't want a confrontation with her father or her mother about the baby.
Well,
she definitely didn't want that.
Apparently, according to these documents, some friends are claiming that they had confrontations. Let's
yes.
go to the phones. Kelly,
Yes.
Indiana, your question.
Yes, I have a couple points to make. I wanted to know, I know that there was a lot of time in between. I think she was trying to bide time by not reporting it. I know that they seized some of the computers in the family home. Have they went to any of the local places in the area, like the library? You can access information from the internet at any time. Is it possible that she was shopping for parents for her daughter?
Let's go to Mark Williams, news director, WNDV. Mark?
Well, I know they confiscated all those computers from the Anthony home. No word as if she went to any of the local libraries around town, because there are several in her neighborhood, which of course you have free internet access. Don't know, and they haven't talked about that yet, if they've looked at other computers outside the Anthony family home.
Mickey Sherman and Christopher A. Mulch, the defense attorneys here, what do you make of the fact that there was a vigil for her missing daughter right outside her home, the family home where Casey is staying, yesterday, Sunday, and Casey did not make it out to the driveway for the vigil?
Well, remember Scott Peterson went to his ex-wife's vigil as well. It's a no-win. Why would she want to show up there? It's going to be a media opportunity.
To support her daughter?
Well, obviously she could be supporting her daughter by letting the people know where she really is or what happened. But just to do a photo walk for the 47 satellite trucks out there and to do a perp walk, nothing good is going to come to her. It'll be great for us, but not for her.
It sounds to me like she's finally listening to the advice of her lawyer, which must be stop showing up in public places and talking about this case, because people are looking for everything you say. They're looking for inconsistencies and feeding it back to you. It sounds to me like she's finally listening.
Speaking of inconsistencies, Leonard Padilla, her family said the reason she didn't go out to the vigil was for security concerns, and yet those security concerns have not stopped her from getting in a vehicle and going to visit her lawyer and going to her case manager today. So if you're going to cite security concerns, stay home 100%. And have the lawyer come to you. Don't say, well, I can't go to the vigil for my daughter outside my house.
Believe me, I suggested that she not go anywhere today when she had that appointment with a lawyer. The case manager, I don't think she can bring to her house. But I will tell you this, that prior to that vigil, there was a group of hard rock musicians out there with music loud enough to be heard down in Miami, and they were just kicking up a fuss and all that. And they said they'd be back for the vigil, and honestly, there was a sergeant from the local sheriff's office came out there, and we told him, is there any way you can have some additional security out here? Because if those guys come back, it's going to draw George and some people off that vigil, and there's going to be hell to pay, and there's no sense in that. And I'm glad, honestly, that they kept her inside the house.
Now, Leonard, you said that you felt that she gave the child to friends because she was chafing under the restrictions of her family, and implied that she might have had a fight with her dad, George. You're there. Did George say, yeah, I had a fight with my daughter, and she was upset?
I've not discussed that with George. I'm definitely not going to add to his problems right now. That's my thinking. I've talked to some people that have said that, you know, she was, in one instance, she was talking about that the parents were going to give her the house and this young lady was going to move in with her and all that. All lies. There's all sorts of stories out there that, I mean, her friends, she lied to them constantly, not just about this particular incident, but about everything in her life. It was a constant lie.
Yeah, and it makes it so difficult. We saw that in the Natalie Holloway case with Joran Vandersloot, who lied about everything. And the question was he lying just about the terrible incident of Natalie Holloway going missing, or was he just lying because he's a pathological liar and he lies about everything? And it makes the case more complicated. I agree with you there. Now, as we go to break tonight, we have a special happy 17th birthday to a Las Vegas friend of the show, Mi-Young Clemens. Clemens bravely fighting sickle cell at a local children's hospital. Happy birthday, Mi-Young. Get well real soon.